2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Second. We are going to start right out. Discipline. And we are reconvening from closed session at 6:03. So if I can get a motion.
Second.
By Mr. Giles. Hearing none or seeing no hands, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. Good. And for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by. Right hand over the heart. Thank you very much. Move right into the ACES Award. We,
Our ACES, our assistant superintendent, Mike Davis, is visiting his family in Michigan. And Mr. Todd Coleman here, Director of Educating Personnel to ACES.
All right. Good evening, Board of Trustees. Good evening, cabinet members. Yes, I have the honor and privilege of introducing two incredible workers here for Lancaster School District. If I can call up, I'm going to call up both at the same time because they're being nominated by the same person. If I could call up Lisa Etherington, if you could come up, please. She is the family ambassador at Mariposa. So Lisa, come over here. You want to stand right here. And then also Gata Marino, who is a UTK teacher over at Mariposa. And so they're receiving these awards. The award stands for achieving a culture of exceptional service here in Lancaster School District. So they were nominated both by their principal, Eric Gold, and this is what he said. I would like to nominate Gata Marino, UTK teacher, and Lisa Etherington, family ambassador from Mariposa Computer Science Magnet School, for an ACES Award. Their dedication to our students, families, and communities have led to two successful Real Men Read and Read to Me events. The latest event, Read to Me, had over 35 volunteers that came into our classrooms to read to the students. Part of Mariposa's vision to create leaders, and what a better way to create leaders than seeing great examples of leadership in action. Another part of our vision is to create thinkers, and you cannot do that without literacy skills. It was great to hear Mrs. Etherington, our family ambassador, explaining to parents the importance of bringing in informational text into our classrooms and into our students' hands. Ms. Marino, Ms. Etherington worked tirelessly to plan, coordinate, and execute every detail of the Read to Me event. It is amazing to watch staff members not only complete their assigned duties, but go above and beyond to ensure our students have the best chance of being successful, but to also increase the opportunities for family engagement. Because of all of this, Gata Marino and Lisa Etherington are perfect examples of ACES Award recipients. They are not only leaders at Mariposa, but they are also leaders for Lancaster School District. If we could congratulate both Lisa and Gata, please.
All right, thank you.
Boys get right. We'll move on to number 11, the informational item about enrollment.
All right, good evening, board. In UTK through 8th grade, we have 14,132 students. In ECE, we have 486 students for a grand total of 14,618. This is a loss of 17 from our last board meeting, but a gain of 66 from the same time last year. Additionally, we have 949 homeless students and 455 foster students.
Where keeps going up. Foster. What's the homeless again?
Homeless was 949.
Move on to number 12, curriculum highlights. Focus on social, emotional learning leaders. As principal, Mr. Jeff Westreicher. Says Carrillo.
Good evening. So, is this clear? All right, well, my name is Mr. Westreicher, and I am the principal of the Leadership Academy. I oversee RISE, and I also oversee the program. I'm honored to be given some time to share a little bit about the Leadership Academy. So our focus this year for the 2023-2024 school year is to establish a level system at our campus. So the reason why is that the level system approach provides students with an additional layer of rapid and effective behavioral support. So our students, they participate in 3 to 5 social emotional check-ins throughout the day. These points that they earn during this is based on the teacher and student collaboration. So this check-in is based on individual students' targeted behavior goals. So every student has their own established set of goals that they're trying to target as they come into our campus. We kind of get to know them and see what areas they need work on. And so when they do those social emotional check-ins, they're going to go ahead and get those check-ins every day, multiple times throughout the day to kind of earn points in terms of meeting their goals. So relation of strength, or I'm sorry, how is with those social emotional check-ins, some of those behaviors that they can be targeting is owning your actions, work and play safely, minding your own business, and like following directions the first time they're given. So those are some of blanketed goals that we use for multiple students, but then like I said, they are individualized for some of our higher tiered students. So the accumulation of points. So they'll earn 1 to 2 points for each of their check-ins on their behavior goals. So there's a possibility of 10 points per day, and that's up to teachers' discretion. So we give them the flexibility to be able to utilize the points in however they see fit, and I'll get into more as to how students will level systems. I did bring Miss J, one of our teachers on our campus. She teaches 2nd grade and 3rd grade on our campus, and she'll give you a little bit more in depth on how it works in her classroom and how she uses the level system.
The way I use it, we use Class Dojo for digital tickets. We don't actually hand the kids tickets anymore, we use it as digital means. So in my class, the kids can earn tickets 2 ways. They can earn them throughout the day by doing things they need to do, staying on task, being a good listener, persisting, participating, lots of choices. So they can earn those throughout the day. Constant, hey, thank you, Joey, for staying in your seat. Thank you for being persistent, whatever it is. For our check-in, we do it 3 times a day. We do it before we go to lunch, do it after lunch. That's our toughest time, unstructured time. And then we do it at the end of the day, right before our lunch. So you get to ask 3 questions. Were you following directions the first time? Were you staying on task? Were you minding your own business? You get a score of 2, yeah, you did it. 1, did most of it, or 0, you had a tough time. The kids rate themselves. And in all honesty, they're really honest about it most of the time. If someone gives themselves a 2, We'll go a 2. When we've got a 2, they'll tell us, and I say, what about, oh, yeah, that's right, I did. You're right, I should get a 1. But we have that discussion right at that moment. It takes a couple of seconds. The opposite is also true. If they give themselves a 0, give yourself a 0. I'm staying on task. Well, you had to tell me to stop daydreaming and get busy. Do it. Yeah. Why can't you have a 2? 2. So they hold themselves accountable. Myself and my parent do have the final say, but the kids are usually 99% of the time in agreement. We also use those check-ins for a class goal using dojos, and my kids can earn different things depending on how many points you've completed. This last one, I just had a little girl earn getting to skip a non-core assignment. So she was thrilled to death that she got to play Prodigy instead of doing some vocabulary stuff we were doing because we'd already done our English language lesson, and it was just an extra practice. They can earn extra PE time, they can earn extra game time, they can earn a snack, just depending on what level we are. The big goal is to have a pizza. So we'll see who gets there. We're not there yet, but almost. That's how that was in.
All right, so we have 5 levels in the level system. We start off with diamond, down to platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. So our level system is built where all students who are coming to our campus are automatically at level 2. That's our starting point. Start to move up, through level 3, 4, and 5 each week. So level 1 is a drop from starting off at level 2. That is a loss of privilege and detention for lunch. We don't design it to where students stay in level 1. We want it to be pretty fluid. And so if you're in a level 1 position, it only takes 2 days to move up a level. So we don't want that to be kind of one of those areas where students will stay. We want to keep it focused on positive and reaching for. So to move up from level 2 to 3, 4, 5, those are usually a week it takes for students to accumulate those. So the one disparity is level 1, which we don't want students to stay in that area. We are working through the process of looking at how we display these in the classroom. We kind of caught in an area where we want to follow with what CKH is doing, in which we implement a lot of the things from our social contracts and things like that. And so making sure that we're very focused on the positive of those level systems so that it doesn't feel like, students are on display who are stuck at level 1 or when students are getting level dropped and things like that. So we don't want to create a negative environment with that. And so we're always constantly looking at that area and making sure that we're framing it in a way that is positive for students. So the student drops a level if they do not earn 60% of the points. And so those points are based on whatever the classroom teacher is using in terms of how many check-ins they're using and how many points are available. So it's just, if they're not earning that 60% of their points that are possible in the classroom, they will drop a level. If they stay within 60 to 80% of those points, they stay at that level. And if they're above 80% earning those points, they will move up. So that's how the level system works. For our level 5 students, we're looking at getting an area where they can maintain. So instead of it being between 60 and 80, our level 5 students are our top students. Those are the students that we can take anywhere. They have access to our field trips. They are the ones who represent our school the best, and that means positive interactions with all adults, using appropriate language, being role models for all other students. And so we have a higher expectations for those students, and then they need to maintain like a 90%. There's no ODRs. There's no opportunity. If they drop to level 4, they are always going to earn back to level 5. That's always the ultimate goal, but we understand that students make mistakes, and so we want to be able to have that fluidity in the levels, and so that they can always recover. So for if a student drops to level 1, they can always advance, and that's what I kind of briefly talked about. We just want it to be quick, so that's the quickest one that you can move up. So that's a 2-day move. Other than that, the other levels are weekly. Some of the rewards we have for our behaviors are the level parties, which are usually classroom led. We have a silver membership for our student store, and then also a gold membership, right? So that's based on the level system. So as they go into our student store that's digital, they can buy things from certain areas at silver level. And then as they go to that gold level, more things will open up. So it's all incentivized based on their level systems to try to kind of hit them. Our level 5 students get to go on field trips. So we're doing monthly field trips. We've got some pretty cool things coming up, and I'm sure you've seen it as I get your approval, and I truly appreciate it. We have a indoor skydiving that's coming up in April, so that the kids are excited about that. It's another great opportunity. We've done the LA Zoo, we've done bowling, we've been to the movies, things like that. So it's worked really well. A lot of our level 5 students stay there, so we don't really see a drop in those areas. Our ultimate goal is to get students back on the comprehensive campus. It's never to stay at TLA. We want to empower them and teach them the skills they need to be successful, and so that's what we're trying to do. So, when they're level 5, it's small tweaks that we need to make to kind of get them ready for that transition. So we do appreciate the incentives and the support that we've received. Another thing that I've been able to put together on my campus is the Wolfpack Arcade, and this is something students buy time in. We have a PlayStation, multiple games. We have an air hockey table, some cool lights, some cool seating, things like that. Students buy time in there all the time. And so that's earned, and that's only opened up for our level 5 students. So it's still one of those things that you've got to earn it. I get asked all the time, can I go in there? I'm like, what level are you? So it's one of those things that kids are enticed to want to do, but we've got to get them to function and they can utilize that space. We've also tied it into our absences. So we want to make sure that they have good attendance, and so that's kind of a part of it, right? So if you're not in attendance, but it's an excused absence, that doesn't hurt you, but it also doesn't benefit you, right? So if it's unexcused absences, that will hurt your points because you can't earn those back. But if it's excused, then we just call, it's a wash for that day. So you'll still need to get here and work through the process of earning your points back for the remainder of the days that you are there after an excused absence. Any of the big major things that happen on campus, these are outside of ODRs and things like that. We are going to use all other means of correction prior to suspension, prior to any major issues. Sometimes it's calling parents for support and things like that. We utilize everything we can do to kind of build a community at our school and use all other alternate means before we get to suspension. Every adult on our campus is working towards trying to help students kind of make the better choices. So conflict mediations, conflict resolution, everything you could think of, we try prior to those things. But if it's a violation of ed code, it is a drop to level 1, so they start over and they got to build back up. We understand that there's going to be mistakes. We're going to do everything that we can to put things in place to kind of help them to complete. So those are some of the things that cause drops like that: physical threats, physical aggression. We often see that in that first kind of couple of weeks when students start to transition to our campus. And they start to kind of realize what we are and what we do, and we start to see a lot less of those behaviors, and the students who continue, will start to just thrive in our system. In summary, the level system helps provide a more targeted system of support. Some of our future plans is to kind of tighten up our system. It is just being, in the starting phase of getting it pushed out this year. We want to train all of our staff in the system. Make sure that we tighten it across our grade levels so that all teachers are using it in the same way. Other than that, I think that's it. I thank you for your time, and if anybody has any questions for me, I'd love to answer.
How many kids you have on your campus now? I mean, I realize you have TLA and.
Oh, so at Rise we have 35. At TLA we are at 43.
Group, but
It is a manageable group. We have 5 teachers, and so
trying to picture how big you were.
no,
Because you're pretty big, but not huge.
not too
You
big.
don't want it to be huge.
No, it is enough that we can focus on the students. I mean, they're high need students.
Right.
Some of the most vulnerable students, we see a lot of trauma that comes through our doors, and so having that ability to have adults to be able to build relationships and be students is
Those guys' relationships probably everything. Thank you guys for caring about our students.
For everything you do.
I have a question, Mr. Wesley.
yes.
The level 5, the top of the chain, I guess.
Yes.
Are those students that have been there a long time, or did some of them come there right up?
Yeah, so like I said, there's usually a little bit of a transition time. Oftentimes, they're coming off of a comprehensive campus, and so there's a little bit, I would say, maybe sometimes anger, frustration, maybe confusion, things like that. And so, it's great that I get to do enrollments with the parents and the students prior to them coming on campus with opportunity to kind of know our program and build a relationship with the family and let them know like what we're going to do there and how it's going to work. So that kind of alleviates that a little bit of that tension. But I think oftentimes, sometimes they don't really understand it. So we go from second grade on up to eighth grade. And so, we're dealing with a wide variety of grade levels and behaviors and things like that. And so some kids will thrive automatically, like instantly they see the program. It's a small setting. They're all self-contained classrooms. All you have to do is get along with the students who are in their class. That's, ranges from 7 to 12 kids in that classroom. And so it's a smaller setting. They get a little bit more focus on them. They get a little bit more of that maybe they need at the time. So some students take them 5 weeks and they're there, but ultimately they are still either, an IEP placement, or it could be a contract. So they still have to fulfill that contract, but that's why that incentives and those pieces, different opportunities we have. Some of the things I left off is we do an ELO ambassadorship where they get to work with the ELO. Some of our older students, they get to do job training, clerical skills, interview skills. So they have a whole curriculum that's set up that they get to work with that. And then we also get to do our volunteering out here with the food distribution like that. So there's a lot of different opportunities that we have for our students to keep them engaged and motivated to do until they do fulfill it.
Thank you. Ms. Creel, how long have you been there?
It's trying to talk me out of teaching there, and I said, no, this is my home, so I'm staying. Outside the box. Right.
Okay.
I appreciate it, guys. Is there anything it sounds like you guys got a great program. You guys got it all figured out. Is there anything we could, in a perfect world, is there anything the board could do to help you guys or the district? Just seems like you guys kind of figured it out. If you had there's your chance.
This is year one for me, so it's kind of foundational, and I think that we're in a good space. Obviously, I'll give it over to Ms. Jake, because she's been there for quite some time to really see how it's going. I think it's been a great year. I mean, that's me looking at it, and I have high hopes, and so I think that we're making the right move. I think it's super supportive. I think that it's also supported a lot of our incentives that are, we're probably doing more than most campuses, which I do truly appreciate. These are some opportunities that our kids wouldn't be able to.
Best year. For the board. Board. Without that. It's a huge difference. Takes, yeah. But most of our staff that is there, they're just come work in our school. To be the right person. That's great.
Yeah.
Motion? All in favor? Aye. 4-0. E, approval of a second addendum to the superintendent And now ask for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Vote passes 0. Business items. Approval of the purchase health agreement.
So moved.
Second by. That's
It's a weird name for the company that sold us the warehouse. So this is a ratification of the sales agreement that the board was so gracious to allow us to sign prior to their approval. As you're already aware, we received the keys from the seller, and we're already in the process of reviewing the facility and the needs of it to get it up and functional as a warehouse as soon as possible.
the other question. None, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
B, approval of change order 16 with Web Builder. Joshua Elementary School modernization. Questions? I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 0. The approval of change order 15, Web Builders Construction for Joshua Modernization and Asset Project.
So moved. This is for a playground, is that correct? That was actually the last one. This is the repairing of some of the cracked concrete in the classrooms. We need to do this before we put down the new flooring, so they have a nice smooth surface.
Favor?
Aye.
0. Human resource, individual action items. A, approval of chief school officer. Job description and revised management salary schedule. Should.
Okay.
Question? All in favor?
Aye.
0. Approval of a chief school.
Well, I'm not the chief fiscal officer, but I will, may I get before the name? Maria Alatorre.
But we should have a motion, yes. On motion. Smith, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You want to come up front?
A little presentation? Yeah.
We might have somebody want to interview.
Is that all right?
Thank you. All right, so we'll move on to 17, addressing the board. It's for individuals who wish to address the board and complete and present supporting documents to the superintendent's assistant or other district officials prior to the start of this. Personal information such as parent, guardian's name, last phone number, date of birth, or other directory information defined in code 39061 may be excluded from the minutes of the meeting by submitting a request to the superintendent. The board president will recognize individuals. Well, I'll pass that to Dr. Mariani. And individuals wishing to present testimony to the board concerning specific items on the agenda may do so once that item has been moved, seconded, and is on the floor for discussion. Time is 3 minutes per person. 20 minutes per item will be allowed per board bylaw 9322. Members of the board may ask questions for clarification purposes. However, no action may be taken and no discussion may take place on an item not on the posted agenda. So we'll start with, as always, number one, PTA. Second, CSEA. Third would be Teachers Association. Finally, comment from the audience.
So we have one speaker card, Mr. Devin Burden.
Sorry.
One speaker, Mr.
Okay. Welcome.
Good evening, Lancaster School District members, Superintendent Mariani. So my name is Devin Burden. I stand before you today, a concerned father advocating for my son. His name is Knowledge. He attends Westman Elementary. He's a 4th grade student. Wednesday, February 21st, my son was assaulted by a teacher named Mr. Richmond on campus that day. His way to a fire drill. If I may just read his brief statement, it's only a paragraph. It's clear. So my son wrote, when we were walking out to the fire drill, I saw a ball and I started kicking it with my feet. Then Mr. Richmond came behind me and stumbled into me and said, watch where you're going. I could have tripped on that. Mind you, I said he was behind him. He wasn't. He says, and then while grabbing me really tight and like throwing me, after Mr. Richmond yelled at me and said, stay away from me. I don't want to be near you. Then Mr. Richmond said to another teacher, Ms. Silva, and told her while pointing at my son, he said, keep that kid away from me. This was filed on the day of the assault in question, February 21st. Picked him up from school that day. Immediately, I went to the front office to try to have a discussion with Mrs. White, the principal over there. Her and I always had a good rapport, so she was able to see me that day. My wife met me up there that day as well. So me, my wife, and my son sat in Mrs. White's office and had a discussion. We relayed what took place to her. She took my son's statement. Also, about 7 to 9 witnesses were present when this happened, although the teacher himself, to my understanding, upholds that he didn't put a hand on my child. On that same day, while we were in the office, she received our complaint. She placed a phone call to the district office where Mr. Coleman was able to take my call. He's a former principal of my son at Jack North. They had a great relationship. He knew exactly who he was when he said his name. He allowed us to come to his office that day and have court with him and the other Mr. Coleman. And so I just want to say thank you to them for acting swiftly on my son's behalf. I mean, I said this to them publicly, but I want to say it publicly as well because they acted on his behalf. At this point, yesterday, my wife picks my son up from school and he says nothing is being done about Mr. Richmond. Now, whether or not that's exactly the case, obviously, from a kid, that's his standpoint. But I decided to speak with Mrs. White this morning because it's been several weeks. It's been over a month since the assault took place, and I hadn't received an update. So, to my understanding, I wasn't able to get any details about the investigation, I guess, for confidentiality reasons, which I understand. But all my son sees is that he's unprotected, that he's unsafe at his school, that he continues to see the same teacher on campus every day. He does say that he looks at him funny sometimes. Regardless, at this point, I feel like that he's expressing this over 30 days after the event. I have to advocate for his safety. I don't really know what your guys' standard protocol is when a teacher assaults a student, but I have to imagine that if it were the other way around, more swift action would be taken. And so I'm an educator myself. I teach high school for the Antelope Valley Union High School District. And so I would advocate this way for anybody in this room, anybody whose kid I saw got hands put on them by an adult. there are certain things that should not be allowed. And I'm hopeful to, I try to take all the proper channels, go through the right steps. I filed a complaint, spoke with the district office, obviously, and followed up. My family would feel more protected if they would have followed up with us, but it's been kind of silence for several weeks. And I spoke to Mr. Coleman today regarding, next
30 seconds.
regarding next steps. And he said that, I know they went up to my son's school the next day after the incident. So thank you. Appreciate that. And then they launched a site investigation. And so to this point, I haven't received any information on what's actually being done. And my son doesn't feel safe on campus anymore. And I hope that we would prioritize kid safety. That's all I have.
That is the only comment.
Thank you. We'll move on to number 18. Superintendent.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Young, second by Ms. Mann. Comment? The audience or? See us promoting proclamations for health, schools, libraries, child abuse. We're not promoting child abuse, we're just prevention. And for other items, governing board elections, those are items that had to be updated for the coming election in November. So, with that, business 19A through 19. Motion. By Ms. Carlson. Any questions regarding these items? So I have one, that's regarding central services. Is this a new change?
Well, as part of the wide-scale modernization program that we're going through, we started with the guidance of CFW. They put together our facilities implementation plan. They're leading the organization of this work. They created a pool of 5 architects from which we could select to do our different projects. And for this second round, which is at New Vista, the 5 architects each did a presentation. And I sat on that panel, and this is a new architect to the district. And I really like what they had to offer. While they weren't the lowest priced, they don't have to be the lowest price for service contracts. They were very innovative. And so the decision of the panel was to assign some work to this architect. It's a new player for the district, but we're excited about what they bring to the table and some of their innovative ideas. Local. They are not, but they're willing to have the people up here at the times they need them to properly oversee the project.
The approval with solar panels or
No, they're more of an informational lobbying effort at the state level, so they keep this apprised of different energy-related programs that are out there, different requirements, reporting requirements. So they just kind of keep us on our toes by feeding us the information we need to make sure that we're current with all the reporting requirements.
Rama Media was the company at last year's promotion ceremony that provided all the technology, and they did a marvelous job. Two huge screens, the video system, and then making each of the promotion ceremonies available online. Besides streaming it live, they made it available for a full year. So we were very pleased that they were able to, again, provide service this year at the same price they did last year.
All right, well, let's go for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Services. On items. The approval of the last one was
Schools that have been identified as comprehensive. Right? That provides them additional dollars to support the needs that they are identified. Dashboard is shared with them. These dollars targeted so they need additional plans above theirs. Targeting these needs. So, attendance dollars might go to the
vote. What else? Students need a marriage counselor.
Work is not around marriage. Therapy, it's through especially a contract for the LA Rise program, work with some of the students who are struggling. But it's not regards to, but or just clothing.
Interest. Or marriage. Taken. I don't want there to be confusion.
Absolutely.
Our people in the district think we're providing marriage counseling.
We do not provide marriage counseling. We can remove it and place it back with a different language. Absolutely. So if we can vote to remove the item and then motion a second, remove the item and then start over.
I'll make a motion that we remove item H from the consent agenda 20.
Second. Moving item 8.
Okay.
Back to the rest of them. Are there any other questions? None? Call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Consent agenda item number 1. Human resources. Mr. Dial. Anything on this? We have quite a few names on the list. Thank you, and both Mr. Coleman's. All in favor?
Aye.
This Innovation and technology, so. Agenda items number 2A.
Second.
What a Swank, giving us permission, for photograph.
No, this is to be able to show movies for like family nights. Because they are copyrighted movies, we have to have the permission to show them. And so this gives our license to every school in our district to be able to show kind of movies.
Hi, thank you. Any other questions? None? Favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, vote passes 4-0. Legislative and policy. Sure. Questions? Forward.
Good for this. Going to be our update on the controlling the calendar. Hopefully it's good. We'll have to fix it next time.
Congratulations to the recipients.
ACES recipient. And Maria, congratulations on your promotion.
Second, that congratulations, our ACES award members. I've worked, had an opportunity to participate in several of the reading programs that were oversaw by Lisa. And if you've never had the opportunity to get to any of them, really missed out on the treat. They do a fantastic job at getting us motivated, keeping us fed. You know, it's a really great experience that I've had, so much so that I've done it 3 times already. Also, congratulations, Maria. Always a pleasure. I hope this doesn't mean that we're going to lose her on all of our other budgeting things. Okay, awesome. So we're going to teach. Yeah, so we're going to have you twice. Great. Other than that, TLA and Rise, great presentation of what you're doing. It looks very interesting. I haven't been over there in a while, so I need to get over there and see a lot of those lessons in action. Looking forward to that. And also, Mr. Devin, I'm sorry that you've had the experience that you and your family have had. I know that we take all of those matters very seriously, and so they're going to be looked into, see what we can do to help rectify that situation so everyone walks away feeling whole.
Mr. John.
Okay, thanks. Pretty much did over everything you guys said. I appreciate the ACES winners. Mariposa, a great place to be. Maria, congratulations again. Really enjoyed the TLA Rise update. Just, it's really nice to see them doing stuff for the kids that are struggling the most. I mean, I get it, you know, this might be the only time they ever get to do a skydive, you know, all that stuff. It's great. If that helps them to be a productive student, I'm all for it. So that's what I was trying to get at, is that I want them to be able to come out of there and be able to come back and say, you know what, I was going the other direction and these guys cared for me and they set me in the right direction, and now I'm teaching for, even if they teach for Palmdale, it'll still be okay. But hopefully not, but whatever. Anyway, I thank you guys for that program. Ms. Burden, I thank you for bringing your concerns forward. I know how it is to have kids and not have them feel safe. So definitely look into that. And thank you guys for all coming and staying. And I hope everybody had a great break. Kind of did, but I kind of didn't. But anyway, I appreciate everybody, their hard work coming back. Thank you.
I echo much of the same thing. Ms. Etherington, Ms. Moreno, all the work that's going on in Mariposa, outstanding. Great individuals. Also want to acknowledge the work that Mr. Freeze did on the warehouse. That's a lot of heavy lifting to come through all that red tape and purchasing. I think this started months ago. It's been a long time, so a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of work, but we're really excited about growing the warehouse. So with Maria, we manage about $300 million, and look on the news, you'll see layoffs and budget cuts, and really struggling right now. But we are in a good place in Lancaster School District, and that's on the backs of our business department and Superintendent Freeze and also our fiscal director, Maria. So thank you for all you do. And then we have a lot of things going on. We have about 8 more weeks left to school. There's a lot of community events, a lot of side events. It's going to be a race to the finish. So we're really excited to join all the celebration coming down to the end of the line.
Thank you, Dr. Eddie. I'd just like to echo everyone else. Thank you for your presentation. Sometimes never good to hear, but it seems this year we're doing much better. No expulsions. I mean, we have some, but quite a few. That has a lot to do with our district, our teachers, and those at administration. Mr. Director, thank you very much. Mr. Gold, if you're still here. All of you that are teaching, have to make sure that we aren't ahead of ourselves when it comes to the students. They are our most important subjects. Students are here to learn. They don't want or need to be harassed or taken advantage of. So with that, in the our POSA team, thank you very much. I like help with real men read, whether it was at Westwind or at Mariposa. It was great. 35 volunteers that came to do that. That's coming up as a career night. And so if any of you can do career day, we'd love to hear from you. And the same is true with our upcoming open houses. You're all going to have fun. Thank you very much. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn at 6:50.
Moved.
Moved by Mr. Giles. Second by Mr. Olson. All in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Thank you all for attending. Very good evening. And great to have you.